Non-stupid people always underestimate the damaging power of stupid individuals. In particular, non-stupid people constantly forget that at all times and places and under any circumstances to deal and or associate with stupid people always turns out to be a costly mistake. Are you there for the military or to specifically prove a point to this toxic ass community? Why not both? Why not both? To be honest, I saw a podcast of me featuring some esports talking heads talking about me. It was quite the interesting circle jerk. I don't know if you guys saw this, if anybody in here. I realized a lot of you guys actually don't even know who these people are. Like, my audience has no idea about the esports side of things. It was an interesting podcast. It was basically them talking about I mean, it was basically them spending a lot of time talking about me, except they didn't invite me on. But they spent a lot of time discussing me, which seems to be the meta. Because I happily would have had a conversation with them. I would have thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. No one asked me. Let's put it that way. No one asked me. Because I get the feeling that's a lot of what their content is. It feels like a lot of their content is talking about successful men. In fact, I would argue that's the majority of esports content is talking about successful men and not living it yourself. That seems to be the meta. I could just be dumb. They did also mention my age a lot. I did catch that. They mentioned that I was old. They must figure shouldn't get to play. Dude, older people, bro. Older people. They don't like older people that much. They don't like older people. They don't like people learning the game. These guys, their fans apparently know everything there is to know already about the game. Even though 90+% of the players that play League of Legends are in gold or lower, they all talk like they understand the game at a very deep level. Very interesting. It's a very interesting. It's pretend that you know what you're talking about when you don't. Talk about successful people. Say that they don't deserve to be successful. They got carried. They got this. They got that. You know, you're too bad. You're too old to play the game. It sounds a lot like League of Legends players to me. Like when I really drill down into this conversation, lots of little insecurities coming up. I was initially gonna be like, you know, I was gonna talk a lot of trash about these people, but I'm gonna try to be better than that going forward. If they want to have a real conversation with me instead of just talking about me, they can have that conversation with me anytime. I would love to have a conversation with people that think they've figured me out or figured my job out or figured out all this stuff. I mean, they have nothing to lose, right? Why would they be afraid to have me in a conversation? Their fans are going to like them anyways, right? No matter what I say. So I'm just saying there's probably a reason. There's probably a reason why they didn't want to have me on there. You know why? Do you know why that is? We talked about this the last stream. Do you know why? Because you can't relate to esports. You're just not a religious zealot. Seriously, you can't relate to it because it makes no fucking sense. Like it actually doesn't make any sense. I talked about this yesterday. This is the type of conversation I'd love to have with these guys. Like I would just love to hear this. I'd love to hear what they'd have to say about it. In honesty, not even to flame them. I just don't get it. So for me, I feel like people that watch me, it also doesn't click with them because it's the difference between pro football and backyard football. Except it's even worse because no one owns football. These pro players are boring too. They seem to have no personality. That is just because, no disrespect to pro players, because being a pro player in League of Legends is fucking, it's weird, dude. It's a PR hellscape. Okay, so like, this is why I'm free to say this stuff. This is why pros don't say anything negative about the pro scene because they don't want to get blackballed, right? That's why like there's so many most aspiring pro players won't say anything negative about the scene because they don't want to get like, they don't want to get blackballed out of the scene, right? This is why these esports fans can't stop talking about me, guys. They can't, these esports people cannot stop talking about me, right? They just can't. They can't do it. You know why? Because like I said the other day, it breaks the religion up. Okay? Imagine you're a fan of pro play, okay? A legitimate fan, okay? In order to be like a heavy sports fan, there's like an element of like religion to it, right? Well, that happens with esports. What I'm saying is that like people worship a lot of these guys. People worship even NA pros. People worship them, okay? So along comes a dude who's older, which is why they keep bringing up my age all the time, right? Along comes a dude who's older and is making a lot of money coaching League of Legends fundamentals, which, by the way, 90% of all League of Legends players do not have the fundamentals down. There would be literally no iron to gold if players had the fundamentals down, right? Fundamentals are everything in every sport ever. So here comes this older dude who's basically getting rich off of coaching fundamentals. Something that all these guys that are like active in the pro scene or high elo players think that they're above. Like it's beneath me to coach people on these fundamentals. And it's hard work. Saying the same things all the time is not easy work, right? Eventually it starts becoming like mowing a lawn. You're doing it all the time, right? So along comes this dude who's making bank, who's older, right? Who's not in the pro scene. So what happens? Well, initially, all the players, all the coaches that are aspiring to be in an org, right, on a pro team or a pro scene org, start attacking me. You saw that with that Nelson guy, right? You saw that with a bunch of people that aren't actually that big in the pro scene, right? Or they just realize that I'm 10x their salary, right? And they just get mad, right? They just get mad and they start attacking me. Then all the esports fans, well, I'm breaking the religion up. Now the esports fans, they know that I have to be making more than many of the pros. So it fucks their worldview. Do you understand? It fucks their worldview up because they worship these guys. If Neace is worth $350 a session and some other pro coach isn't, well, that just fucks the whole thing up in their head, right? And that's why they want to that's why they want to outcast me. That's why they want to outcast me. That's why they want to say some shit like so-and-so's better, or, you know, I'm scamming people, or that I'm not good enough, or like all these these random attacks, right? They want to attack, like literally post a video of me playing at 500 plus GM fucking NA with Twisted Fate mid, right? Which is like proves macro and mechanical competency. And they want to try to say that I'm not good enough to coach 99.9% of all players in this video game. Think about that for a second, right? Even if I didn't make Challenger that year, right? Even if I didn't make Challenger in Season 9, it wouldn't matter at all. Because it just proves that I played in those games and I'm good enough to play in those games. Think about it. It breaks the immersion. So now what do they have to do? They have to try to they have to try to tear the business down, right? And all these people feel like I'm attacking them. When have I attacked? When have I attacked them? I was just doing my business, right? Just running my business. And they take really like perverse lines about it. So I get it. I get, like, it took me a while to wrap my head around why people hate me so much. And I think I get it. Because they've hated me for like 2 years. And all I've been doing is just working. To put it into perspective, how big of a disconnect there is between worship. So let me use an example for you. Let me checkmate the pro scene for a second, okay? Broxah is a world-class player, world-class jungler, right? Played Lee Sin at the highest level that this video game can be played, okay? And guess what? I do a Neace gets coached with Broxah, okay? Which my editing team and I thought would be a slam dunk. We're like, wow, this is perfect content. Here we have Neace crossing over to get exposure into the pro scene, right? And to start getting people interested in educational content. But you know what happened? You know what happened? I make this Neace gets coached video with Broxah. And guess what happened? It was actually not a very viewed video at all. It was one of our lower view videos for the level of effort and the collaboration like value, right? Broxah and I, it was great. We had a good coaching session. It was fun, right? Notice I didn't do another one with him. Not because I don't like him. It didn't get any views. You know why it didn't get any views? Because esports fans don't actually want to live it. They want to fetishize it. They want to fantasize about it. They don't play the game. They're couch quarterbacks. They're couch quarterbacks. That's why it was a lesser viewed video, because the precise market that I thought would be interested, it's like, oh, here's Broxah, right? They don't actually care about the game. They care about worship. You understand what I'm saying? They think they're above the fundamentals. They think they're above learning the game. They think they have it mastered already. Do you see? Does this all make sense? Is this all scanning for you guys? It's worship culture. It's not about getting down and dirty and like learning the fundamentals like we do here all the time, right? It's not about that, right? It's about worshiping everything these guys do, or talking shit about what these guys do. It's not about actually getting in there and getting better at the game yourself or learning anything from it. It's never been about learning. It's just worship. It's turn your brain off, hear a little bit, talk shit about people, and apparently it's also about shitting on a guy who's literally getting people excited to play the same game, but they're too good for that. Like I said, I think it's a depressing realization, but now that I understand it, it makes me very confident about the future. But the thing is they've got but those fans have those talking heads, right? They have those guys, they have the couch quarterbacks, right? They have the couch quarterbacks. They have guys that sit there and pretend that they know the itemization more, that they know what the players should be doing more, that they, you know, they basically LARP as relevant to those players, right? And the fans just eat it up. Very interesting space. And the only reason I've actually been analyzing it so much lately is because of the vitriol, the hate. I think it's been a long developed issue of players getting egos after playing for so long with no punishment. When I drill down into it, though, there is one reoccurring theme that's happening. Do you know my favorite phenomenon with this whole thing is that I'm constantly being told such and such coach is better. Like if my name gets brought up, right? If my name gets brought up, somebody inevitably goes, well, so-and-so is better. He's a better coach. This guy is 10 times better than Neace's coaching content. It's so much better, right? I see that term thrown around a lot. And initially, like, I didn't know how to take that. But like I let them, you know, I let them say stuff like this. Even though it's like completely disingenuous, right? Like how could a coach just be better by default than like another coach? That's like an opinion, right? This is a very, like, unless I'm actively coaching pro play and there's like results versus results or whatever, right? How could a coach be better than another coach? Right? And then I got to thinking about it as like, well, what's the measurement? Like, how do we say a coach is like better than another coach? Like, what the fuck? Like, what's the measurement? Because in my eyes, when it comes to coaching, like my techniques emphasize lower elo stuff, and a lot of the coaches that people compare me to emphasize higher elo stuff. So we're not really even competing against each other. But like in my realm, where I focus on, like I am the best one. I'm the most requested. I'm the most experienced. I've made the most content to go with it. A body of work is readily available that you could choose to buy or not. It's like I absolutely am 100% for 99% of players, the best coach. There's really no debate unless you're talking purely about coaching for people that are higher level, which you can maybe make an argument because that's not my lane, right? But that's again why I have people that are really good coaches like Shogo and Saskio and Polaris and Ray, and I do have coaches that specialize for players that want to, that want to get to that really, really high level, or that could offer more insight. Yeah, I definitely offend the market. Yeah, that's what it is. So I think I'm, because I've shouted coaches out, and I want to keep doing that, but I think I need to start putting my foot down a little bit more with this type of messaging. If I'm so bad, right? If these other people are so much better, then why aren't they servicing this market as well as I am? And if they're not, that's okay. But why try to shit on me? I don't understand. Because even recently, I've proven that I'm a top tier player while coaching most of the time. So it doesn't... Very, very strange. Oh yeah, I said that I'm tired of copyright striking people. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Like, I am their content now. Like, I'm not, it's fine. I'll make a more official announcement on my channel at some point. But I'm not... I realize now that I'm doing the League community at large a favor. But what do you guys think about everything I'm saying? Is there an argument spot that I'm missing here? Is there an argument spot that I'm missing? Is there something that I'm missing? I'm more interested in the content than the learning experience. Yeah, learning's hard. You got to keep harping on these little fundamentals, these little details over and over again. It's so much easier to just talk shit and not actually do it. Like, think about it. I have fans that watch my content all the time, right? They like watch my shit all the time. It's so much harder. Like, the amount of like successful people, or just like people, I noticed that like, successful people or people trying to like better themselves in like real life, like fitness, like a lot of people will really like my content. Like, those types of people really like my content. It's about self-improvement, right? It's about pushing yourself, all that stuff, right? But it feels like esports people don't really want that at all. It feels more like they're just, like I said, they're just there to fucking rah and not actually put the work in on anything and pretend that they're equal. They're equal to the pros, dude. They're equal. They're on the same wavelength. They get it. Someone told them what to think. They know the fundamentals already, right? That's why they make good fans too, because like I said, the instance of like I love you guys, and I'm glad you all bought my coaching, but y'all suck at being like mindless drones. You know that. Like, you fans, you guys got to get on your fucking religious shit and start like all capping my tweets and just memeing on people, because like you guys support me monetarily, but you guys got to be fucking dumber like these people. You gotta start just saying some dumb shit. Bro, I once saw a guy go to in one of my tweets telling me how I have no morals and that LS has better morals than me. After LS took a deal, LS also said that he was morally uncomfortable with what I was doing, coaching people, like lower elo people. He say the value wasn't worth it. Like, morally, he felt offended by it or something. And I just read that after just hearing about the guy taking a freaking sponsorship deal from a company that promoted solo queue betting. I read that. I could not believe what I was reading. Like, I legitimately read that. Like somehow morally charging people for a service is bad. Like, that was the actual argument that was used against me. Right. I post all my coachings. I just couldn't believe it. I make however much money for an hour and a half of work, right? Guy makes 6 figures on promoting a site that like actively is ruining the ladder, right? That will inevitably add solo queue betting back in as soon as people stop paying attention, right? It took me, I worked with Clout Fantasy. It took me all of 20 seconds to ask them, hey, does this have like solo queue betting, or is this just like esports betting stuff, right? No solo queue betting. I go, if there's solo queue betting, I do not want to do this, right? It took me 20 seconds to ask. I did the Clout Fantasy thing with Twitter and TikTok, right? 20 seconds to ask. That's all it would have taken. But how am I morally bad? Like, how is what I'm doing morally bad? Like, I'm not saying anybody's morally wrong or anything. I'm just saying why the throwing of stones at me everywhere. That's why you guys got to start being dumber fans, okay? I don't like that you guys are like successful business people that don't have time for Twitter and stuff. At least when I'm debating and arguing with these people, I need you guys to be a lot dumber and just mindlessly say you agree with what I say, like the esports fans do, instead of being like living, breathing entities with your own trains of thought and no need to stoop to this level. Why don't you invite them on your live stream to talk? No, I'd rather talk to them on their streams. I don't think they're gonna. That's the thing, is like their fan bases don't really intersect. If they think I'm the bad guy, if they think I'm, you know, such a bad person or whatever, I would love to have that conversation. I would love to talk about people, or I'd love to talk with people that are actually in esports scene and really like lay these points out and see how exactly they argue it. But I don't think they stand to gain anything. And that's my point, is that they would rather stay in the echo chamber. They would rather tell their fans Neace bad. I don't talk with people, talk about them. Yeah, they would rather stay in the echo chamber and say Neace bad, Neace old, Neace not good coach, right? They'd rather say all these things. That was why I created the Neace, the Angry Neace persona on Twitter. Like the Angry Neace persona. That's why I started all capping. Because it seems like the only way to get these guys to talk about you is to just get them mad. The only way to like get these guys to care is to just poke at them. Because they were just bashing me on here. That's why I just started all capping everything. Look at that. Right here, right here. Because quietly working and making content, these guys were just talking and saying a lot of negative things. So being Angry Neace seemed to make them at least hear what I had to say. I'm not worried about the haters. I want to make money off of the haters. I don't think you're understanding me. I'm thinking about how can I use their hatred to make money? How can I leverage this audience to make more money? Wait until you guys see my next idea. I have the best idea that both the haters and the Neace fans will love. This is what I mean. Like, you guys don't understand. My goal, listen, my goal, obviously, we're going to get to high elo. Obviously, I'm going to make high elo in Korea. But that's not enough. Do you understand? I want to dominate. I want to dominate these people, right? I want to get even. Think of it like this. I specialize in low elo coaching. There's pro players and pro coaches that are really upset that I get the value that I get from my coaching business. Once they found out how much money I made, there's like a whole drama around it. And so seeing is how, basically seeing that I'm in this position, they kind of feel like it's a slight against them somehow. And they're kind of, you know, they're just being assholes because of it. Basically, they want people in their communities to make what I'm making, and they know that they're not. So they're trying to like attack me and like just talk down. It's just basically talk bad about me and all that stuff. Basically, if you're a low elo player, the fact is, wow. Basically, if you're a low elo player, the fact is this is actually the #1 place to like learn the game, get better at the game, like talk about the game, learn the fundamentals, all that stuff. Right? I mean, I'll tell you this. At the end of the day, here's my counterpoint to you, Jonathan. The main argument against me is that season 9. We'll just give the argument. Season 9, I didn't make Challenger. Okay, let's just give that argument. There's a video of me on my channel that season playing under the account named Death by Cards. The account played at 490 something LP. I win 2 games back to back, which clearly brings me to 500 and something LP. Grandmaster is 99.9% better than the average League of Legends player. Like, the average League of Legends player will never go anywhere near Grandmaster, which is on the cusp of Challenger. Now, I've made Challenger in other seasons, right? Which, I don't have any proof of that, right? But I have high elo players that are much better than me vouching for me and saying, yeah, I've played with Neace for years. Okay? So, let's give the olive branch to... Let's just give the olive branch to people and just say, okay, Neace... let's just say, Neace, you lied about making Challenger in Season 9. Right? Let's just go with that. Even still, I would be more than qualified to coach 99.9% of players. Even if, based on the video evidence of me playing at that elo, playing in Grandmaster, high Grandmaster, right on the doorstep of Challenger with and against Challenger players. Now, whether you hate me or not, whether you think that I'm lying about ever being, ever making Challenger or not, which I have, but whatever. Again, we'll just give it to him. Right? You cannot deny, through sheer body of work and sheer skill level with proof, that I am more than qualified. Not only am I more than qualified to coach, I'm more qualified to coach than most coaches that are in the space. And that's with having the biggest body of work more than anyone in the YouTube coaching space. You see what I'm saying? Even if you're on the fence, neutral, these are pretty indisputable. Is all that making sense? So like, there's really no reason to hate me, because you could just watch my YouTube videos for yourself. They're free to watch. You never have to buy a coaching. But like, a lot of people have. And if you go to like Trustpilot, for example, most of the time when I ask people for Trustpilot reviews, they have really good things to say about their experiences. Does that make sense? Like, there's really nothing in there that people can be that upset about. What other accusations of being fraudulent would I need to address, right? I just don't know where I stand on that. But yeah, I understand. If you got GM at least, more than qualified to help low-elo players. Exactly. That's the key word. More than qualified. Overqualified to help teach the majority of players that I teach. And again, there's video. There's literal video, which is more evidence than any screenshot anyways. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting.